against Ferris and Minnesota State, the supposed top two teams in the coaches poll. How do you see your team matching up with them? Of course, with elephant in the room of Ryan not having played in the 6 games.
My personal opinion, and I think I'm speaking for everyone within our program, that we match up fine against them. We don't get a chance to play Ferris at home to answer that series, but we thought it was a hard-fought series. Obviously, they got the best of us with a win and a tie. 3 of the 4 games with Mankato went to overtime. The other one was 1-goal game. So I don't think there's anyone that would argue that we don't match up pretty well against them and ultimately against those 2 teams. Again, we're not going to get a chance to prove it against Ferris, but I thought that series could have gone either way, both games.
Just a question about the WCHA as a whole at this point. I know it's early, but it looks like with one exception at the top and one at the bottom, it's been basically a point-a-game league. I mean, has that been?
I think so, and quite honestly, that's what I thought it was going to be. You may not have the Notre Dame or the Michigan, who on paper might be a little bit different, or a Miami on paper, but everybody. Man, every game is a battle. Like you read the recaps, you read the box scores. Alaska at Ferris. You read Lake Superior at Bemidji. You read Bemidji and Anchorage. Bemidji Mankato. I mean, every game is close. The shots are close. They're hard-fought games. I think all these teams in the middle of that pack. And even Ferris and Huntsville take pride in how hard they work and how hard they are to play against. Very similar teams on paper as all those teams. And I knew that going into the league. It's proving to be that way. We want to be a team we want to be a league that makes a mark. But against ourselves, it's pretty much us beating each other up. Now that's the same thing as the NCHC and the same thing as Big Ten's going to be in Hockey East and so on. But that's what our league seems to be shaking out is from top to bottom a fairly evenly matched league.
So the $64 question becomes, what does Bowling Green have to do to get, I hate to call it a rut, but kind of to escape that point of match?
Yeah, we need to, where we feel we are right now is we need individuals playing better, more individuals playing better, and we need to collectively play better for more parts of the game. It's not a 60-minute game for us right now, and at times a 65-minute game where we're playing 40 minutes out of 65, or less than that, or a little bit more than that. That's not enough. And a team like Mankato, a team like Ferris, they will expose you for not playing properly enough of the time. And then individually, we feel like too many guys are losing their poise and losing their focus at that time of the game. Whether that loss of poise and focus shows itself in a bad penalty, it shows itself in a turnover, it shows itself in a scrambling situation versus poise and focus. It's cost us leads, it's cost us games, and it has to stop. And one of the frustrating parts of it, and I've said this a couple of times over the last week or so, it's very difficult to recapture that in practice. And you know how important practice is for us. It's all about the preparation, right, and how hard you prepare. It's hard to put that kid in that situation in practice on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, because it's not the same as being down or being up 2 goals with 2 minutes to go at Ferris. It's not the same. So all we can believe is the more times we're in that situation, the better off we'll be in terms of our execution at that time. It hasn't happened yet. Our program over the past 2 years in particular hasn't been with leads in situations where we need to run away from teams. Well, we're there right now, and we need to find a way to up our level every period, every shift. Just, I mean, whether we're ahead or not. I mean, again, we're not a team that pays a whole lot of attention to the scoreboard, but if you were to look at what we've done, you'd say they absolutely pay attention to the scoreboard. They're down 2 goals, they push. They're up 2 goals, they sit back. That's not what we want to be known for. That's not how we're teaching this thing. This is about process for us. This is about doing things with purpose. This is about detail to our game individually, collectively. Nothing has changed from 3 years ago when we first sat here talking about what we're going to do, how this is going to look. It's going to be about the process. It's going to be about the daily routine and the daily expectation. We're in a situation right now that we haven't been in a whole lot, and we're getting exposed for that. That's not an excuse. The penalties we've taken, the plays we've made with the puck, they're unacceptable. We have to find a way to correct it. We have to find a way to stay poised and focused at that time, in that situation, and ultimately that starts with individuals, and then it goes to our collectives. And that's what we've been saying to these guys for the last 6 or 7 weeks. And we're going to say it to the next 6 or 7 weeks. Because when we watched the overtime goal on Saturday night, and full marks to Mankato, full marks, but we had the puck in their end for a chance. Connor Crucera missed the net. A chance Dejan Mingo got it, and there was a save. They came down, and basically 5 of the orange could have made a play. And 2 guys in the black made a play, and they're celebrating, and we're holding their head. There's going to be other situations like that this year. It's going to be this weekend. It's going to be next, and so on and so on. Well, we don't want that to be in a playoff game. That means there's no tomorrow. We don't want that to be in Grand Rapids. We don't want that to be in some of these home games we've got in the second half of the year. Right? It's happening all the time. Happened last weekend. Happened the weekend before. We have to find a way to be on the positive side of that play, which the way for us is training our guys to make sure this play and that play, there's no difference. They're both just as important. When they happen doesn't matter. The situation, who's winning, none of that matters. Let's make sure we're on the positive side of each and every play. They all matter. And that's been our focus. Because anyone that's watched us play this year knows that our games have come down to 1 play here, 2 plays there, but you don't know which it's going to be, right? So you can't predetermine. So let's focus on every play. Let's make sure every play is important. Our guys are figuring that out, and we've struggled with it.
Will you talk a little bit comparing the start of this year to the last couple of years? I mean,
it's really hard because our starts have been poor, and I think we feel like the last 6-game segment or the last 6-game piece hasn't been great, and we're 2-3-1, and we've joked about this. And in years past, 2-3-1, we would take. We'd be okay with. It's a good thing. We wanted to get off to a better start. We're 1 game above 500. Do we think there's more games in there that we could have done? Yeah. Are there games that we won that maybe we shouldn't have? Potentially, So I think this year, from a record standpoint, is much better. I think that from a daily execution, it's better. There needs to be more execution on a daily basis. Our talent level is better, so we've got better players consistently, and their expectations are higher. So we expect to make better plays. I'm not talking bad about anybody. I'm not saying this year is way better than last year, way better than the year before. I'm just saying that this is where our program is right now. We have guys with high expectations. You want to be great every day. Well, your grade might be different than his grade, but we expect them both to execute at a high level. So it's similar in that we always want more in execution. We always want more in purpose. We always want more in the process. But it's better in that we feel much better about what we're doing November 26th of 2013 than we did November 25th of 2012. That's just real. We had a tough first half last year. We had a really, really tough first half the year before, and the year before that wasn't even, can't even talk about. So things are evolving and changing. There's always challenges. There's always things we want to do better. I like the fact that we think there's more, and the record is what it is. And I was talking to Kevin. Our strength of schedule is strong compared to as we look on. I wasn't talking to Kevin about that, but somebody. We've played good teams. Our record has been. It is what it is, and we've got a top 10 strength of schedule. So, I feel, everyone that knows me, you know, I want more, right? We want more, but we feel like we're in a better spot today than we were a year ago today. Sorry.
And then how do you balance that with Ryan Carpenter not being in the line? Because that makes such a huge.
Us sitting here right now, we can talk about it, but we don't talk about it, you know?
Right.
And that's the only way. So I don't balance it. We look at Ryan Carpenter out of the lineup as an opportunity for somebody else, and you know that's coach speak.
Right.
But us talking, when you don't have your so-called, let's say one of your top players, and I include Brett Muller in that. I listened to Coach Clausen talk about the internal competition that they have at every position now. That's so much different than his first year here. When you're missing Carpenter and Muller, that's two guys that are in a top 9 type player. That isn't in your lineup for practice every day. That naturally kids are going to take their foot off the gas and not worry as much or not push as hard. Worry is a bad word, but not push as hard in practice because, well, I'm going to play. That's complacency, man. That's bad. We don't want our guys thinking that. We're not at that point. We don't have guys that should be complacent with their game. We want to have that competition every position. We're working on that. We think up front, we're pretty darn close when we're healthy. So not having Ryan and or Brett has hurt that. Does that give us hope that we add number 24 and then at some point, hopefully in the next couple, 3-4 weeks, we add number 22? Yeah, that's a good thing. But we don't preface it, we don't asterisk, hey, our record is this without. These are the guys we have. These are the 20 that play every night. And not too long down the road, number 22 is going to be out there. Number 24 is in the conversation right now. Those are good things. They're good things for them as individuals. They're good things for us as a team.
Speaking of which, can we kind of get a part of my ignorance here? I mean, what do you think in terms of the return? It sounds like Muller is very close.
Yeah, Muller practiced full yesterday and practiced full today. I actually, he had to get out of here for class, so I wasn't able to talk to him. Tuesdays are kind of our work and hitting day. And he was out there the whole time. There was no issue, but I didn't ask him how he felt.
Right.
But he looked fine. And he can make hockey plays. He's a guy that can do that. Ryan is still not putting any pressure on his foot, so he is doing. We kind of joke because he I think he got the absolute okay from the finger doctor on Monday, which so his finger's okay.
Yeah,
that's
great.
good news.
Right.
Yeah, he's I believe he's seeing his foot doctor today. We don't anticipate any big shakes either way. He's going to be told to stay off it, and that's totally fine with us. He's doing fine. So other than those two, I think we're pretty good. But it's nice to see Muller out there playing, and we'll see how he does the rest of the week to see if he's going to play this weekend or not.
You said a couple minutes ago, maybe 3 or 4 more weeks for Ryan. So you're thinking maybe Pittsburgh or?
Yeah, I think the earliest Pittsburgh, and that's an uneducated guess. That because we know there's time there, we're not going to rush him to Tech.
Right.
That just doesn't make any sense. And then if you don't rush him to Tech, now you're talking December 27th and 28th. So I think Tech is 13, 14 of December.
Right.
So now you've got 2 more weeks till 27. We all know how hard he's going to work, even though he'll be in Florida for a chunk of that. I think it's nice. And then those 2 are non-conference games. They don't mean they're not important, but they're non-conference games. So do we need to rush him back for that? No. And then we get back into conference play. So we think that the break's going to come and give him a couple extra weeks there to really get healthy. And obviously the doctors are going to have the final say on that, but that's kind of sort of evolving into our timeline.
You've already answered my next question, but maybe the real timeline would be that series against Huntsville.
Yeah.
In January.
Potentially, yeah. That could be more realistic. The last thing at this point we want to do is rush him, and again, with the finger, it's one thing, but he won't have skated. I mean, he's not even walking on it yet, so he won't have skated in a while. So we want to make sure.
Lake Superior is a team that was near the bottom of the coaches poll, but off to a really nice start. What do you see that's made the difference for them?
It's really a testament to their brand and to their coaching staff and probably some of their returning seniors, because they lost a bunch, or 4 top scorers, whatever. I think their goaltending is as good as there is in the league. Even from a pair perspective, it looks like Kevin Kapalka's played most of the games, but and it's a by committee type team. They don't rely on this guy or that guy. I mean, if they're relying on somebody, it's a freshman, it looks like, in Glowkey, but I think it's a by committee type team. He's playing with a couple seniors in Radke and Campbell, and those guys have been around. They defend hard. The only real comparison we can make doesn't make us feel great. They went to Union the weekend after we did, and they swept them, and we couldn't get a win out of there. It's going to be a very similar series to the last 4 league series we've played. It's going to be a battle. It's going to come down to a bounce, a play, a penalty kill, a power play. I just feel like that, and that's if we're right. I'm assuming they're going to be right. We're expecting them to be right at home. They were away last weekend. I'm sure they're happy to get home. I think it's, again, they're relying on the committee. They're relying on the bunch to get it done together. And now they feel pretty good about themselves, and they should. They've been in the top 20 the last 3 or 4 weeks in terms of the polls. They're winning games at home. They're winning games on the road. Other guys are stepping up, lots of different people. So I just think it's a very difficult group to play against, just because of all of those factors.
And then you got the line of Glowkey, Radke, and
Campbell
all playing.
Exactly.
Playing
Yeah,
really
exactly. Glowkey's a real big body. His brother was a big guy that played at Notre Dame, but Alex is bigger. He's taller. And then Radke and Campbell have been dangerous, for a couple of years now at least. So, but even in the things that we've looked at, I mean, their second scorer is a defenseman. So I think that it's a by committee group with that line that you mentioned, kind of being their go-to group, and guys that they rely on it. Have been pretty consistent in scoring.
Then you look at their penalty killing. It's #1 in the league. And
Yeah, I mean, when you have goaltending like they have, and I'm not downplaying their penalty killing. I'm just saying, when your goaltending is truly your best penalty killer, and it doesn't matter if it's Murdoch or Kapalka, then you're going to have good penalty killing, and that's what they've done. They keep things to the outside on their penalty kill, so they kind of make you take shots when you don't want to, and if teams don't want to pay the price in front of the net by taking goalies' eyes away and second, third effort in front of the net, then Kevin or Murdoch will stop it. And they may stop it anyway. Now it's a recipe that we're going to have to get to these guys. Whoever we play, we're going to have to get to them. Power play, 5-on-5. But I don't think enough teams have been doing that. I think enough teams have been settling, and when you settle against them, they'll expose you for it.
And then your power play, not to state the obvious, needs to be better.
Yeah, it needs to be better. It needs to be better. I mean, it had a potential to help. We had a goal each game, but that 5-on-3 Saturday comes back, and that's concerning, because they scored on their 5-on-3 opportunity. We weren't able to. It's nice to get one each game. I mean, we hadn't scored in a while, so it's nice to get back on that where we're contributing, but it needs to contribute at a higher level for sure. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.